I want just to share my complaints and the issues about the MacBook Pro, because there is no way to scale the user interface. So essentially it's impossible to use with an external monitors, because if you choose a smaller resolution in order to have bigger tests and icons, you lose a lot of sharpness and details. And yeah, even with 4K monitors, which is the same resolution of the built-in display of the laptop, is the same. And for example, you can see that with Ubuntu you can do it with no problem, so it's very easy to use an external monitor. And someone says that, for example, you can do it just with Apple's monitors because you want to buy them. And here there is the proof. You see, you can choose a larger text if you use the mirror display mode, so you're showing the same image on the external monitor. And you know, there is this scaling option. But in this way, the laptop, you can see, is plenty of threads of people complain that gets very hot, like the region above the touch bar is get very hot. So if you want a cooler laptop, you could close the lid, plug to the charger, and use in clamshell mode. But in this way, so it gets colder, because you know it doesn't have to output at the same time a 4K built-in display plus another external monitor. But in this way, the problem is what we were talking about, that there are no scaling option at all, so the image looks very very tiny and it's impossible to use. Look how it was very hot. Actually, it was like, yeah, more than 70, like 80 degrees, just with no app opens, just using an external monitor and with the turbo boost disabled. Another thing that I don't like is that you cannot turn off the built-in display while keeping the lid open. So this is very annoying, because maybe you won't use, like in this mod, like I'm doing with Ubuntu, and you won't use the keyboard, the microphone, the speakers, the touch bar of the laptop while using with an external monitor. You can't. You must close it in order to use just one monitor. And another problem, since I'm a programmer and for example, I connect through SSH-X to use graphical application through remote server, they always crash it. For example, Vesta on uplot, if you know them, while with Ubuntu, they works very smooth. They sometimes works in Mac, but most of the times they just crash. So I would like also to give you two solutions to get your Mac colder, for example, by using Logic Pro. I don't know why it automatic switches to the dynamic switching thus to the external GPU, the Radeon MD, while for Logic there is no necessity. You don't experience any less of performance if you just use the integrated GPU. So you can use this app, which is called G Switcher, and I will put a link. So you can choose the integrated one. Of course, you cannot do it with an external monitor, because the output video is connected just to the external GPU, and so you cannot use this trick. This is a very funny thing, because with Logic there is this crackling issue, this noise coming, but you see that so for example you should put to 48, but it's very problematic. And you must do this procedure every time you close the application, every time you log in, so it's very annoying. Another thing you could do is to use this app, which is called Turbo Boost Switcher, which allows you to disable the Turbo Boost, which is a Intel feature, and so the laptop run colder. And this is an example of how loud it gets. This is once that the trackpad was stuck, the touch bar, so there was no way. And I also tried all the to kill the